Before I die, I'd like to do something nice. Take my hand and I'll take you for a ride. You hit me yesterday because I made you cry. So before we die, I'd like to do something nice. I want to buy you something, but I don't have any money. No, I don't have any money. I want to buy you something, but I don't have any money. No, I don't have any money.
Welcome to the Friday Nights. I'm Jason Sandberg. Fellas, I had a fantastic week. I'm on the mend. I'm like 80% pneumonia free.
Oh, that's good to
Um,
hear.
to those that are tuning in, I apologize. We really apologize. Jill Biden was supposed to be here tonight running the show
Mm,
for us,
right.
taking the lead. She is too busy. Apparently, she's got to veto some bills. She's got to
Mm,
sign some bills into law. She's got to get some classified briefings from the National Security Council. It is
hmm
busy. It is a hard job being the president, so she cannot hang out here and be with us tonight.
right.
Um, on a bright note, I did get this beauty in the mail this week. This is
Oh, nice.
our past guest Nandra Fox's book, Fabled Offering. It is a effectively a standalone story. However, I hope he and his artist do more stories in this world. The concepts, the art, it's beautiful. This is
hmm
this is this is this book is better than anything that Marvel or DC are putting out in terms of originality and actual craft. And he was on our show. So go check this out. I think it's in demand if you've missed it. And of course, I dug out some books here by our guest tonight. Some good old Silence Dogood. We need Ben Franklin now more than ever, and we'll get
Mhm.
we'll get into that topic later on when we look at our guest project. But these are this is a fantastic series. He's 2 issues in, working on issue 3. As
Nice.
always, I am hard at work on Jupiter issue 2. Jupiter issue 1 is in demand on Fund My Comic and IndieGoGo, and there is some crazy stuff happening in the news that is a reminder that anyone who backs Jupiter gets the official license to meme from the Legion of Memers. You got Hillary saying that people should be arrested for disinformation. You got the
Right.
craziness in Australia. People in the EU want to arrest Elon Musk. It is wild. Memers stick together, stay free. But otherwise, I'm on the mend. Craig, how was your
Yes.
week?
I had another great week. Again, I'm just finishing up all the video stuff I want to do, and then I'm gonna start putting review videos on my YouTube. See if that doesn't help boost a little bit of traffic. And yeah, I'm just getting ready to write issue 5. That's exciting.
Nice.
Uh, the only books I have to show, nothing new came in the mail. However, these beautiful books are still here. More
Oh,
Rising 1, as
look
you
at
know,
that.
More Rising 2 is currently funding, and I like to pull out this book here as well. Look at that Jupiter.
That's
Hey, there it
beautiful.
is.
Beautiful
Mhm.
book. Right. And then I managed to find these things too. Look at that.
Heck
I'm a
yeah.
Captain Klein bottle fan
Keep that,
member.
keep that in the wallet.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't want to put it in the wallet. It'll get all scuffed up in my back pocket. But yeah. But other than that, things are good. And I'm going to start writing my next issue here very shortly. So how was your week, Aaron?
Oh, my week was great. I took Monday off. I needed a day. You need a little bit of a mental day.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And so the week went pretty quick. I didn't even do any overtime, which is pretty strange for me. So, but
Mm.
and this week I was
Hey,
on
Aaron,
Andy
Aaron,
Smith.
are
Yeah,
you waiting until the overtime's tax free? Is that what you're waiting for?
I would. Oh man, I can't wait. I really
Mm.
hope that happens, especially as much as I work. Anyways, yeah. So I was on Andy Smith and Dennis Turner's show, the A&D show, and
Nice.
so in celebration, I whipped this
Nice.
out and was rereading it. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I was like, when I was on the show, I was like, I started it, I had it open, and I was like, oh, hi everybody, super funny.
I
Anyways,
enjoyed
yeah.
First Man 1 and 2. I got issues 1 and 2 of First Man. That was pretty cool.
Well, this is really cool. Sword and sorcery kind of story. It's got hot babes, big
Nice.
old burly dude. So
I
kind of like a Conan esque,
if
very
memory
very Conan. What's
if
that?
memory serves, I think Cordath started out as a role playing game, kind of similar to what you did. Is that
They
is that
have a
true?
tie-in. I don't
Okay.
think that it's like I'm not sure that this actually started as a game, but they do have module tie-ins for it. Dennis
Okay.
is working on that actually. So
Good
yeah,
deal.
pretty cool.
Salty, how was your week?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me on the program tonight. I'm excited to
Yes.
hang out with you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you for
welcome.
My
joining.
week was good. I finished the last drawing and inking the last spread for Silence Do Good issue 3. So that's off with the colorist now. And then hopefully by the end of this month, we will be off to the printers because the lettering's also almost done. I'm
Exciting.
excited about that. So can't wait to start shipping issue 3. And then we're actually going to be shipping all 3 issues as one graphic novel as well, which will be a
Nice.
lot of fun.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what my comic book is about, it is about Ben Franklin getting kidnapped and taken into the future and trapped inside a VR program that's run by an artificial intelligence that thinks it's God in a future not too dissimilar to ours, where you will own nothing and be happy. And Ben Franklin thinks it's a bunch of crap and decides to kick everyone's ass.
Nice.
And the books that I got a couple of books in the mail. So I got Monster Island last week. Haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'm excited to. It's at the top. I have so many books right now. And I flipped through it. I scanned through it though, and the art just looks phenomenal.
Yep.
Graham Nolan, just a pro. I also got today in the mail, Shotgun Samurai.
Oh wow.
There we go.
The Quaff. If you guys know who the Quaff is,
Yep.
you can find him on the Twitters. That looks cool. It's like a manga. It's the size of a manga. It's real thick.
Yeah, it's a decent
So
size
that's gonna
book.
be
Nice.
that's gonna be a long read for me. And then I also got Kataru
Fun. Yeah.
and Terror in the Trenches by Von Klaus.
Nice.
So I'm stoked to check these out. These are the recent. I also have a bunch of other stuff, but they're in the living room because that's where I like to read in the den in the evening with, one hand on my pipe and the other reading a book and relaxing.
Perfect.
Yeah, tobacco's nice at night.
It is. It actually helps me. It's nicotine's an upper, but I don't know. Smoking a pipe helps me relax. And nicotine is an amazing drug. And
It's the deep breathing. Half of it's the deep breathing.
Yeah, but also
right.
nicotine's just an amazing drug. I mean, the stuff that it does, it helps with my ADHD. It helps me focus. I love it, man.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. That's a great.
I smoked for 40 years and then I had to quit. But
Yeah, the delivery of nicotine is the questionable part because the
Right.
tobacco company is they're horrible and have made cigarettes basically addictive. 'Cause
Poison.
nicotine. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Speaking of addictive, Craig, who's in the chat tonight?
yes. So first off was Sim. I said hello, everyone. Again, Sim was a previous guest as well. And I've been flipping through Nate verse 1 and 2, as well as Blood Hunt. Very cool books. Yeah, he hooked me up nice. Vulcan said he loved the Diddy and the Shaq meme. Yeah. I spent a little long on that thumbnail than I should have. I should have spent more time on other things, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, you have that.
Yeah, Jackknife says, "Let's go."
What up, man? Jackknife every week, looking good.
Yes.
Him and Vulcan.
Yeah, and they also joined me. I was on the man cave on Thursday.
Nice.
Yeah, they hang
Yeah,
around
right
the
on.
shows as well. Here's Aaron's handle. We're a Rising Comic Book. It's Friday. We made it, nerds. So
Yeah,
if
we
you want-
made it.
Yeah. If you haven't already, clicked over to his YouTube and subscribe. We all could use more subscribers. Here's Salty, our guest. Says, hey, yo, same thing. If you want to pop over to his channel and subscribe as well.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Salty Draws, and then on our YouTube, we do a Wednesday night podcast where we talk pop culture, entertainment, and stuff like that at 9 p.m. Central, and that is Salty and Savage Show. And please check it out.
It's a lot
Subscribe
of fun.
if you feel like it. It's a good show. We had Jason on like a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And we had a good time. It was a good time.
Very cool. AC said, smash the like button. Yes, please do, and please subscribe to the YouTube. YouTube's been growing. I'm almost up to 330 subscribers. Again, thank you so much, everyone.
Very nice.
Yeah. Belmont says he's
Belmont.
here. Yeah, and we will cut you a bumper at some point.
Yeah, if Belmont, once I get principal art done and Jupiter issue 2, I will be making a special bumper trailer just for you, buddy. Promise.
Nice.
Oh, he said cut him a bumper. I was thinking cocaine. My bad. Sorry. Go for it.
Bump.
Oh, that kind of bump.
Great.
Trailer. My bad.
Timothy Olsen says hello. Hello to you as well.
What's up, Timothy?
And AGE Comics is joining us. Says hello, everyone.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. We have 27 watching us so far tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
So, Salty, we are all creators. We've got the nose to the grindstone. We've got the tunnel vision working on our comics. So we have this show. So every Friday, we can get acquainted with the news stories that we were just too busy to keep track of. And also we can share with our audience what we think are the most important news stories of the week. So, Craig, what's the first news story?
Yes. So
Uh-oh.
our very first news story for the week, as you know, Friday nights, we come to you every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 90 minutes, 3 topics with 1 guest. First topic comes from That Park Place. I don't know how reliable some of these sources are. I've never drawn from this one before, but
He's Catholic. He wouldn't lie.
okay. So it says ahead of Marvel's live-action Fantastic Four film, Marvel Comics depicts Johnny Storm in a sexual relationship with demonic-looking alien bug. Yeah,
Ugh.
so I had to flip through, and yeah, here we go. Here's another interesting. I
Chris.
don't know what it is they're expecting from the reader.
So, fellas, I took one for the team. I did not buy this comic, but this past Wednesday at the LCS, I did step aside, picked it up off the rack, flipped through it. Did not read it cover to cover. It appears to be a negative zone story, and sure enough, him and this bug chick. First they start canoodling, and then the camera pans away, and she's making all kinds of squealing noises. And then later on, they're talking about their interspecies love. Fellas, I love Johnny Storm's character. And they've done fantastic things with him in his romance, his romantic life, whether it be his girlfriend in high school, Dory, who he later tries to connect with, and she's like married with kids, and he's like freaking out because he's got this early midlife, this quarter life crisis happening where he's like, this chick I dated in high school is all settled down now. Then you've got the relationship he had with Crystal, relationship he had with Frankie Ray, his betrayal of Ben Grimm when he was with Alicia, who was actually a Skrull. Needless to say, Johnny Storm has had a fantastic love life and has furthered his character, furthered the story. But in every case, the chick's been it's been hetero. The chick's been cute. The chick's been hot. It's been a mammal at least. I'm really disappointed in what Marvel's doing. Salty, why do you think they're doing this?
Oh, it's obvious, isn't it? I mean, Johnny Storm represents everything that a lot of young guys aspire to be when they get older, which is handsome, fit, a little bit cocky and successful, and kind of heroic. And he is the embodiment of masculinity. He is one form of, how men are, where they're a little bit more cocky, arrogant, and fun, but then also life kind of humbles them. He's a very interesting male character, and he's dripping with toxic masculinity, even though it's just it's just masculinity. And so that it's an attack on that. It is the attack on the Western American man. And it's so obvious. It's not even funny because he's the guy that can get the girl, and it's like, now what? And there's no, in the entirety of his character, there's no, he would never do this. He would never, he was not a perverted weirdo.
Yeah. No standards.
I mean, he might be a little bit of a pervert because he wants the hot chick, but that's like,
natural.
He wants the hot chick. What is this? This is just someone sick, like twisted. We're gonna get them. We're gonna show them. We're gonna do something controversial to make headlines, and then also because they're sick and perverted and weird and twisted.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
bang an alien,
and probably into hentai or something. Like the person that like wrote this is probably like closet lolly hentai weirdo.
Aaron, do you think they're trying to swing for the fences to be open-minded and just? Do you think that's their intent?
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's just perverted. I think they're like, you know what? We are gonna make fun of this jock character and have him screw the ugliest bitch in the school, right? It just really seems like that's what they're going for. But I didn't read the book like somebody. Sorry, flip through it. You didn't read it. So you're not poisoned. But come on. It's pretty obvious. It's not even a human. Okay, let's excuse that. It's fictional. It's not even an attractive looking thing. Like how is that attractive to a human? I don't know. I don't know. You let me know when you figure it out.
Matt Ruth, what's more disgraceful, the mustache that Johnny Storm has now, or his dating choices?
I'm gonna say the dating choices for sure. Yeah. I mean, this story came out as much as you said. Yeah, Vulcan says I'm not surprised. As everyone knows, I've pretty much been sticking to indie only since 2018. It's going to take a lot for me to consider going back to mainstream comics after.
Seriously,
franchise. Yeah. It is what it is.
I definitely don't think it looks demonic. I just think it looks like, because it kept like in the article, it was like they were really trying to hit home like this is a demon. And it's like it doesn't look like a demonic alien. It just looks like a weird millipede insect looking alien. It's just like, why would a guy like Johnny Storm, who's like, again, dripping with masculinity, gonna be like, yeah, let me do that thing in things? Like, what?
So there is a subcurrent to Johnny Storm's character and his character arc where he will do things. Sometimes things come to him easy, and he's very charismatic. Sometimes he hooks up with the wrong chick. Sometimes he's got regrets. I do not know. I do not see him doing this though, and I don't know what I don't know what the regret arc is going to look like in this. I don't know if she's gonna hit him up and say, "I need you to now pay child support," and he's like, "Oh, I have a child," and she goes, "No, I had a brood. You've got like 10 little half Johnny Storm little
10,000
firebugs,
Even worse. Wait.
bugs floating around."
Yeah.
Even worse, space herpes.
Space herpes is possible.
You're welcome.
And so Mad Ruth, I assume Mad Ruth, you saw there's other photos where from the neck down the chick is a centipede.
Right. Yeah.
Do you also think that this might be the continue, because the woke left is also attacking femininity? Do you think this is also an attack on that, where it's like, we hate a guy like Johnny Storm because he would never want to date an ugly, hideous, woman. So we're gonna make it so now that we just erase the women altogether, especially the attractive female, and replace it with
this.
They didn't make it a tranny.
They're trying to make everything ambiguous. Yeah.
You're right, because this does serve the ultimate goal of zero population growth. I mean, his chromosomes cannot spindle with her chromosomes. There ain't going to be no kids in this relationship unless it is the negative zone. So sometimes the laws of physics are a little wonky.
It's like
blonde people. Oof.
It's a weird looking thing. Like, no dude, especially a guy like Johnny Storm, is gonna want to copulate with that. Like, it's just not a thing. It's gonna be like, oh, hi, weird alien. Anyway, moving on. That's the story, and that's it. That's all that happens. Because he's gonna be like, where are the hot purple chicks? The hot ones. Like with maybe with 3 boobs. Maybe 3 boob hot purple chicks, but not this weird thing.
I mean, a couple years ago, Johnny Storm got horn dog with Dr. Doom's fiance, and that was the whole thing. That's what Johnny Storm does. He doesn't fuck bugs. All right.
Yeah, dude.
Well, this is not the first time that Marvel has dipped into weird sexual relationships in comic books. Am I right? So I have prepared a quiz.
Oh yeah.
In which maybe we can go over some of the weirder sex scenes in comics.
All right.
Oh no.
I'm ready.
You got that beautiful bean footage there, Mr. Craig?
They're promising me there's no centaurs in this.
I'm not promising anything. So, all right. Yeah. Comical sex by the book. Look at these two. Whew. Right. All right. Let's do our first one. Go ahead. Next slide. Yeah. Interspecies erotica. So even creepy, weird plant man can get some booty. Swamp Thing and Abby Arcane got kinky and did this to sow their oats.
Yeah.
Was it A? Oh. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was jumping the gun. You go ahead.
All right. Was it A? Swamp Thing ate Monsanto seeds to mutate into a human again to bang? Is it B? Swamp Thing Bill Cosby'd her and dosed her into a psychedelic trip? Or was it C? Abby is not new to interspecies erotica.
It's C, but what happened is he gave her a hallucinogenic tuber to eat off his back, and they tripped balls together, and they had sex on the astral plane, and it was a beautiful story. Beautiful.
Whoa.
Nothing like the bug thing. Nothing.
Yeah. Go ahead. Next slide.
It's like a cucumber, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed, it was B. He gave her a nice little tuber, and she tripped balls. Very Bill Cosby-ish. Next slide.
Yep. It should be up.
Sorry, what's that?
The slide. Do you want another slide after this one?
Yes, next one.
Oh, yeah.
Put this in your mouth. Wait, what?
Yeah. She's like, I've never done this before. Totally trips out. Yeah. Sorry. Each one has a couple of slides. It's fine. They're jokes. If you don't get them, that's all right. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Until finally, these pipes are clean and good for him. It's about time. Whew.
Plants that you'd love to.
All right. Next one. Here we go. Sky High Club. Let me find it. All right. Being able to fly could make for some thrilling nookie. Indeed. Unless you make it too unless you make it weird as well. Who did Angel and Husk get it on? I'm sorry, I'm stumbling. Who did Angel and Husk get it on in front of? Was it A, school, B, the X-Men, or C, Husk's mom?
I'm going to say it would have been A if it was done today, because that's how disgusting Marvel is. But I'm going to go with C on this one.
Yeah. Craig, Jason?
I'm going to say putting on a show for the X-Men for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. See what I can do.
I'm going to say the mom just so that she can get outraged.
All right. Next slide. Yeah. So finally they can be alone. Takes it. He whisks her away. Yeah. Next slide. And later on that page, in front of the X-Men and her mom. Hey, there we go.
That wasn't an option.
Look, mono hands. All right. Next one. Okay. Here we go. Scarlet Witch. Pretty hot, right? Scarlet Witch rates high on the crazy hot scale, but Marvel took it to another level when she not only indulged in incest with Quicksilver, but also had this character watch. Next slide. Was it a paralyzed Professor X, B, their mom, or C, Wolverine?
I'm going to say Wolverine.
I'm going to go with Professor X. She seems like she has daddy issues.
Yeah. She's like, watch.
Professor X too, for sure.
Yeah.
What difference does
next
it make?
slide. It was very quick. Yeah. Yeah, it was actually Wolverine. Yep. He just kind of hung out and watched it happen for some reason.
And he was thinking of Jean Grey the whole time. He's like, Jean.
Probably. It's like, let me see your hands, buddy. The Professor Cuck chair. Yeah, poor Wolvie. Delete your browser history after that one, guy. All right. Next slide. All right, here we go. Batman and Superman have been through a lot together over the years.
Yeah.
And one thing they never expected to go through together was this. Was it A, space worms banging, B, Wonder Woman, at the same time, or C, Robin? Oh, no. Next slide. Yeah, just normal hetero dudes. You know what I mean? Just a couple of friends. That's all it is. Is it A, space worms? Spoiler.
Yeah. I already knew. It had to be A.
It was indeed. Go ahead. Next one.
Yeah, it's just so much going on. It
was indeed space worms.
Space worms.
Where
you got it right, Jason.
Where our hearts have led us.
I'm not sure what that means. But,
was this pre-crisis? What's going on here?
This was from I had it written down. I thought I don't know. It looks like an old one. It's got to be pre-crisis.
Like pre-crisis. That definitely was like.
I think this is a Bob Haney story. So we take it with a grain of salt, people.
Next slide. Yeah. So
what are they doing?
I'm not really sure.
They're docking. Yeah.
That's real weird. Yeah.
They're docking.
What happened? And anyways,
this is where hentai tentacle porn came into.
Yes, way before the Japanese.
The West is always they're always copying everything that the West does. There's nothing original.
This is ground zero, people, right here.
True. Yeah, it's ground zero for hentai. Next slide, please. Yeah, it's definitely not a closet gay metaphor at all. I'm not really sure why they're crying. I kind of read through the story a little bit. Apparently, this alien worms, they come to Earth, and Batman and Superman watch them like procreate and then also age and die. And they were like freaking out because it's like a whole life form right in front of them, and they couldn't handle it. So
It's weird.
yeah, not weird at all. I don't know what you mean, Jason.
It's the worst Batman Superman crossover comic book ever made.
Probably
That's why
ever.
we've not
Yeah.
heard of it.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll stay on this topic, people. We'll let you know if they turn this around, if he disavows his choices, or if we find out the whole time he was being mind controlled. We'll get to the bottom of this. Craig, what's the next topic?
Can't wait for the next issue of Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one comes from UPI. Half a house for sale in California with open concept floor plans. So what happened to this house is during, I guess, some sort of a storm. A tree fell on it, split the house in half. However, its main selling point is that it's really close to Los Angeles, and it's only $500,000. And because it was declared like basically the result of an emergency, if someone wants to build a new house on there, there's no permits restricting them from just demolishing it and building something else on the land. So.
$500,000 for a broken ass house in my home city of Los Angeles. That's awesome.
Well, is this a good deal? What do you think?
Dude, real estate is so ridiculous in California now. But thankfully, we were able to sell our house and leave and take that money and run far, far away from the California government being able to tax us any more than they already did. California is a shithole country, and we might need to consider just kicking them out of the union. I think that would be we should do that. We should kick California out of the union.
Not secession, ejection.
Yeah, ejection. Like, you guys are dumb. You're California's cancer. So it's a cancerous state. All their bad policies are trickling out. That's why Arizona is the way it is now. Colorado is the way it is. It's because of Californians. Because Californians, what happens is that all these a-holes from the East Coast move to California, and then they're like, oh, I've made everything terrible. Let me now leave and go to Austin, Texas. Right. Yeah, like, dude.
Yeah.
$500,000 for this.
Vote yes on Proposition Yeet. How about that?
That's awesome.
Is there any hope? Like, could we cut California in half? Like, is there a good half?
Yeah. So basically, it's the left coast. So it's like from Silicon Valley along the coast, except for Ventura, down to Los Angeles. It's just, you just get rid of that, and then the entire state is worth keeping in the union, because you don't need that part. They're like, oh, like, people will be like, oh, but they make so, like, no, we don't need their money. What we need the land for the agriculture, and then we need San Diego for the West Coast port, and that's pretty much it. The rest of it is garbage. They're garbage human beings in that area. That little sliver right there is what ruins the rest of the state, because the rest of the state is like super conservative, kind of down to earth, regular Americans, farmers, that kind of people that work with their heads. It's that sliver of all those rich liberal elites.
Well, this story caught fire because of the poetic nature of half a house for $500,000, and it showed up on our radar. So we did a Friday night's investigative report. Craig, let's do our deep dive.
Yeah.
All right.
This investigative report is called "You Get Half If You're Lucky." All right. Now, this is going to be very important for those youngsters out there, those Gen Zs, those millennials. You're going to want to really tune in and pay attention to this, because this news story, there's more to this news story than the news story. Next slide. So some might call it half a house. Some people might call it a fixer-upper, but it is a growing trend of boomer disasters that are basically abandoned and put on the market for fire sale prices. And yes, it begs the question, is half a disaster worth it? Aaron, do you view any of those three houses as fixer-uppers? Is there any potential?
With my history with women, I would say yes. But it's probably not a good judgment. So I would not listen to me.
Craig, you're up there in in Canada. It's a different housing market. Can you
Yes.
see yourself picking up any of these and turning it around?
No, no, I'm quite happy actually. I bought here right before I retired and right before COVID happened, and all the houses went double in price. So
Whoa.
thankfully I got out of the army, and thankfully I bought before they posted me again because yeah, the houses are getting ridiculously expensive out here too. So
So it does beg the question, why would somebody settle for half a house? Or why would someone think half a house is a bargain? Let's take a look at the underlying root cause. Next slide, please. All right. So just looking back the last 10 years, the Federal Reserve Bank has basically doubled the M2 money supply. What that means is that in 10 years, the number of dollars available for circulation has doubled. Now, it is not always true that there's a 1-to-1 ratio between the M2 money supply and the overall price structure of the economy. The ratio and the velocity of money, how quickly money changes hands and bids up both assets and raw materials and commodities, that can affect the price structure. But at all times, it is true that there's an underlying real price structure, which can be viewed as ratios between finished goods, input materials, labor costs, and materials. At all times, the market economy is trying to arrive at that real price structure. The more money you put into the economy, the greater the distortions to that price structure in the short term. And then when the dust settles, when all the values realign, the total amount of money in the system will then set those new price levels. The reason why everything costs twice as much as it did 10 years ago is there's literally twice as many dollars floating around. Salty,
Yeah.
is anything I said there wrong?
No, absolutely not. And that's dude, the government ruins everything. They just ruin everything. They
Well-
continue to ruin everything. And what people don't realize is that I don't think people realize, or at least the media doesn't communicate this, is that the reason why they keep printing money. Yes, every time they pass a budget where they're not under budget, where they go over budget, because the government literally every year goes over budget. They're like, oh, we're spending more money than we have. That is them printing money. Like, that's why. It's because those assholes in Congress are like, we can't shut the government down. You guys need us. No, we don't. Go F yourself. You make our lives worse.
They make plenty on the stock market. They don't really need to be paid, do they?
I'll tell you what they could need.
Now, Aaron, I know that you were raised middle class. I know that your neighborhood, the people in your neighborhood took care of their lawns. What's your solution? What's your solution to getting prices to start coming down?
Wow. That's a great question. I'm not an economist, so I couldn't say, but I assume what they'll do is there'll be a lot of unemployment coming soon, and that will try to help to adjust for the inflation. And they'll tell us that they want to keep in interest rates low, and they won't really, but they'll struggle to, and really that will play into the inflation as well. So how that affects loans and money circulation, probably restrictive. There won't be a lot of money flying around. It'll probably pool in certain spots. But luckily here locally, I have seen a lot of the real estate market dropping. So that's great. That's a good sign.
Not in our
Unfortunately,
area. It's
no
all going
new
up.
construction. No new construction is really the
Right.
problem. So
Right.
All
Not enough
right.
houses to keep up with demand. Yeah, it's the same problem.
Well,
here.
maybe if we stop importing so many people.
Craig is up in Canada. They got it real hard.
Yeah. Yeah, they're taking just going to infuriate you even more, but they're coming here and they're taking a large government handout, like, 10 grand or whatever, and getting paid per kid. And then they're trying to hop the border and come to the States after they get the handout. from
Obviously,
here.
because then they get more handouts. They're like,
That's
then
right.
there'll be more handouts.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, next slide, please. All right, so there's a whole branch of economics that bends it over backwards to try to prove to you that the more debt the government has, the better off everybody is, and the more debt the government has, the more it stimulates aggregate demand, the more it boosts employment and so forth. I'm not buying any of it. I'm just going to tell you, people, the math doesn't add up. Does anybody disagree?
Well, no, isn't it correct that now the amount of money you're spending on debt surpasses what you're spending on defense? That's insane.
That is correct. That is correct. At this point, the United States government has a deficit of $1 trillion every 90 days. So to Salty's point, what they do is they go to the bond market and they auction off an additional $1 trillion of debt. Nobody's there to buy the debt. So the Federal Reserve, the open market committee, the Federal Reserve goes to the primary bond dealers, the 20 biggest banks. They literally give them bank reserves to go there and buy those bonds. So in addition that is the means by which the money supply is increased and the inflation happens, is they're literally creating the money to buy the bonds to cover the debt for the deficit every 90 days, $1 trillion. It is nuts. And just a reminder, everybody in Zimbabwe is a millionaire. Doesn't do them any good. Doesn't do them any good. Next slide, please. Now, this is affecting people who are younger more. It's having greater impact on people who are younger. Now, we've seen Stacey before. She's a great college student. She identifies as a Pez dispenser. We don't judge. We don't fully understand what it means, but we've got a lot of heart for Stacey. So Pez's student loans are double her parents' mortgage. So basically, she's graduating from college with a mortgage, but no house. Her income is half of her parents' annual income. But Pez considers herself to be twice smarter than half the people around her. Salty, do you encounter this phenomenon very often where people think they're smarter than most people, but somehow they're not winning at life?
Yes. I mean, that is basically every leftist that works in entertainment in Southern California, in the Los Angeles area, in the industry that I spent 20 years in. And all the little peons that come in and they're like, I'm going to make all this money, and then they think they're smarter than everyone because they went to this school, they went to this fancy school, and they have all this debt. They're living alone in an apartment with a cat, and you're like, you're so smart. I mean, I assume everyone's smarter than me. I'm a freaking moron, but I'm like, but your life sucks. Like, everything about your life is miserable, and you live at work.
Whoops.
No,
she got that cat though. I mean, she hates men and children especially.
If you go to college, I think you come out. I think actually they did they do a study where people that are going into college are actually coming out less intelligent, like
dumber.
Yes.
They don't exactly teach the process to find wisdom either in fucking 16 years of public school education. So that might be her problem.
Well,
but Stacey's mom has it going on.
She does. Mm-hmm. Good one, Jackknife. So, Craig, you're a man of the world. You served in the military. You traveled the world. You've won at life. You got a paid for house. You got a family. You're a independent creator and pension holder. Craig, someone like Stacey, who thinks the world is unfair. She's voting for people that keep printing more money to make everything she wants to buy more expensive, and she's voting for people that are racking her up debt that she'll never be able to pay off. What words of wisdom would you have for Stacey, Craig? What would you tell her?
Well, definitely, at least with your elected officials, they're not doing what you want them to do. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. They get 4 years to do the things they said they're going to do. If they don't do the things they say you do, you punt them. I mean, that should be in every country. That should be a given. I don't understand this insanity that we're putting in people who don't deliver, and then they make life miserable, and then you reelect them again because they say wonderful buzzwords and make the world sound wonderful.
But it's not even the elected people, it's the unelected. Like, our government is the largest employer in the world. That is the biggest parasite on the planet, is the US federal government. And it's not just the people getting elected, it's all their staff, it's all the bureaucracies, the EPA.
It's really the bureaucracy, yeah.
And it's just this giant monolith monster that is just sucking the country dry, killing all of us. I think what we need is every 7 years we need the Etch-a-Sketch of government, and you just start that fucker over.
What they're trying to push now, but none of the governments will do it because, like you said, they're greedy. They're absolutely greedy. They don't care about anyone. They line their pockets with as much money as they can get before they leave. But what they should be doing, like, how they talk about climate change and all this stuff, you have some fiscal responsibility as well. So for every dollar of spending, you should find a dollar of saving at a minimum, right? So cut the waste, cut the fat, cut the bloated programs. If you can justify you trimmed $1 billion here, that frees up $1 billion there. Even just that as a Band-Aid solution would help significantly.
fellas, as the eternal optimist on this panel, I do want to say that having been aware of and listened to about 40 years of arguments for sound money, hard money, balanced budgets, limited government, avoiding the perverse incentives of a command and control economy and price controls. That was all well and good. It was all very scholarly, and it never moved the needle. I think what is finally going to move the needle is that we're literally running out of money. And I think this is finally going to bring about some severe cuts in spending. Let's hope it goes that way. Let's see what happens. But next slide, please.
Has she tried OnlyFans? Maybe.
All right. So, guys, we've looked at half houses that were literally a house where like half of it's missing. What do you think about this? I mean, it's a complete house, but it's like half size. Salty, is this a brilliant move?
This is like the trend of like the tiny houses that they've been trying to push on us to accept a more meager life and not dream as big. No, F this, dude. If this is your only option, then you need to leave the city, county, state that you're living in and find something else, because humans were not meant to live like this. They definitely weren't meant to live on top of each other, and they also weren't meant to live like, in a cage. This is a cage. Get out of the city. That's all I gotta say. Just get out.
But does this have a pod, and can I just play video games my whole day and get paid to do that? Can I just get it?
You could do that.
That'd be terrible.
You use some Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Mad Ruth, would you put in a fireman pole from that second story to just like get down? Would you install a fireman pole?
I mean, I suppose. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to live in something that looks like that. But I mean, when I first graduated high school, again, I'm dating myself in the 90s.
You're dating yourself. That's weird.
In the
That's pretty
early
cool.
90s.
Someone's got to date him.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like the Johnny Storm right now.
It's something Johnny Storm.
No, it's actually, well, it's a better story than whatever.
But yeah, I graduated. I graduated high school, and 2 weeks later, I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment. So yeah, and I could afford that on my very first starter job. But you couldn't do that. Like, I grew up in Toronto. You couldn't do that nowadays. Absolutely impossible. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's
My
see.
question is how do you train your dog to only poop in that like 5 foot square? Like, that would be tough.
Yep. Well, Stacy, you'll have to figure that out. Next slide.
I don't think Stacy can afford that, actually, with her income and debt.
So, guys, speaking of cutting things in half, what is the proper way to cut a sandwich in half? Let's settle this once and for all. Salty, how do you cut a sandwich in half?
At an angle.
Yeah.
Aaron, what do you say?
You cut it right down the middle.
Right down the middle. Craig, how do you cut a sandwich?
It actually depends for me. I say a hot sandwich down the middle, and then room temperature sandwich, cut it diagonally.
What a politician! What a fence-sitting politician! What a finger in the wind politician! Unbelievable!
I think you might be Canadian.
I think you might be Canadian. Everybody knows the proper way to cut a sandwich is diagonally. Okay, we finally settled this. Next slide, please.
Proper gentlemen know that.
All right. So now everybody's aware of the half-life of a radioactive piece of material, but there's also a thing called an anger half-life. So I wanted, on the topic of cutting things in half, I wanted to use Axl Rose as an example. So Axl Rose is right now half as angry as he was in 1984. So Axl Rose has a 40-year anger half-life. So Salty, if we buried Axl Rose, how many decades before we dug him up and he would no longer be angry?
Dude, don't ask me math questions. I'm terrible at math. I'm not even going to try to. So 40. Well, I don't know. If we buried him today?
Yeah, buried him today. Because right now he's half as angry as he was in 1984.
Okay. So I don't know, another 60 years. I'm bad at math, guys.
So,
I'm like really bad at math.
So right now he went from a 14 to a 7. So if we bury him another 40 years, he'd be at a 3.5. So we would have to put him back in there for another 40 years to get him to a 1.75. And then we would have to put him in another 40 years to get him to a 0.85. And then we'd have to build him in another 40 years to get him to a 0.4. and another 40 years to get in point two. So Axl Rose, we would have to. I mean,
So
he's
wait,
made-
he gets a half. He goes half down on his anger every 40 years
40,
instead
yeah.
of like a steady like decline.
That's what a half-life is. Yes, yes.
Okay.
That-
See, I'm
so-
dumb.
So just
Stacey
like
is smarter than me.
just like
No,
carbon
it's,
14. Yeah.
That's
So-
a Plato. That's a Plato allegory, right? Like you cut it in half and keep cutting it in half, and you never actually reach the end.
I think you're thinking of Zeno's arrow, which is a logical
right.
fallacy. This is actual science. Craig, have you ever met somebody who takes like a long time to not be angry?
Yes, many people. I mean, I was
And
in the
how
military
many
for
of them did
26
you
years.
have to put in the ground?
Under
No,
a fence
usually you
post.
want the angry people on your side. So yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for helping us. Thank you for joining us on this investigative report. Oh,
More
I forgot
slides.
there's one more. Okay. So when it comes to cutting stuff in half, everybody knows the better part of the Korean Peninsula is the northern part, because the North Koreans, no matter how cold it is in China or South Korea, the North Korean newspapers are always telling us it's 85, 90 and sunny. So if you're going to pick half of a peninsula, pick the North Korean half.
Supreme
I
Leader
remember that.
picks he can affect the weather in that country, I guess.
That's right.
Man.
That's right.
He's Jewish? No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Now the last topic of cutting stuff in half. Do you guys remember back in the 70s when Marvel and DC would put half-page ads in the comics? Do you remember this?
Yes, of course. I usually actually enjoy the ads up to a point, like to say the late 80s, 90s. So
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That completes our investigative report of cutting stuff in half. Thank you, everybody, for taking this journey with us. Craig, we've got one more topic, and then we're going to look at Salty's project.
yes. So our third and final topic for this evening comes from the Daily Star. Again, I don't know how reliable of a news source Daily Star is. First time using that one. And it referred to a bloke attacked by something in Loch Ness. It hit me in the chest, he says. So it was a swimmer. He came from Australia, and he wanted to swim the distance of Loch Ness, which he said he got about the halfway point, and something from underneath basically bumped him up in the chest, lifted him up out of the water, scared the shit out of him. So,
I hate when that happens.
yeah.
Salty, what's your take on the Loch Ness Monster? Real? Fake?
I mean, I don't know. At this point, I used to be like totally fake. Like, no, there's no way. It's made up. But now I'm like, I don't know. With everything else happening, all the basically every conspiracy theory is just a spoiler now. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're wrong.
Nothing is real.
But no, everything might be. It might be real.
Everything is real.
Everything is real.
Aaron,
Everything that's supposed to be real is not real, and everything that's not supposed to be real is real.
Yeah, exactly.
Aaron, if there's one Loch Ness Monster, doesn't that mean there's a mama Loch Ness Monster and a papa Loch Ness Monster? Isn't that how biology works?
Imagine how inbred the Loch Ness Monster must be. Let's not forget that.
But what if it just lives for a really long time?
Yeah.
You know,
like
like-
an alligator or something.
Like a
Yeah.
fantasy dragon, he lives for hundreds of years. Like, how old was
I love it.
Smaug?
Yeah.
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 Nailed it. That's
So
what it is.
I always regret asking this question. And as much as we strive to be a family friendly show, and as much as we struggle to not have our YouTube channel struck down here, I tremble as I'm about to ask this question. But Craig, what's your theory about the Loch Ness Monster?
Right. So I said it was a place that whales go to chill out. They come in from the ocean. It's really deep, and it often at times they're just upside down with a boner, and then
What?
everyone thinks that's
Masturbating whales. That's where they go to pleasure themselves.
We're struck. It's done.
Craig, that's all you
don't
don't
go
have any-
swimming.
I think I just came up with the next Fantastic Four comic book.
So Craig, there's no photos you want to show us?
No,
There's no-
not, well, maybe if
You're
you
gonna-
watch the
you're
outro.
You're
the
going to show
outro-
restraint. You're going to show restraint this time.
Yes.
You're not going to show us whale dick.
You got to hang around for the end of the show. Yes.
Calm down, Jason. Jeez.
I want to be clear about what I just don't like being ambushed by this stuff.
I know.
This
Yeah.
National Geographic stuff. So Craig, you're gonna save it for the outro.
Yes, for
All right.
sure.
Yeah, I want to commend you for the amount of professionalism and restraint you're showing.
Do my best. Yes.
All right. So those were our 3 topics. Thanks for checking those out. We have our guest here, Salty. I mentioned earlier in the intro that I've got Silence Dogood 1 and 2. Ben Franklin, on top of being an inventor, on top of being a philosopher, on top of being a statesman and a diplomat, was also America's probably first and greatest troll. He was a wonderful troll. Salty, Silence Dogood. Can you tell the people who aren't history buffs like myself, what was Silence Dogood in terms of a pen name, and what did Ben Franklin do with it?
So when Ben Franklin was young, I think I'm always bad with numbers, but I think he was about 16 years old. He was an apprentice at his brother's newspaper, and he wanted to write for his brother's newspaper instead of just, setting blocks and helping his brother out with the printing. And his brother's like, dude, you're a kid. No. And so Ben Franklin decided he would go home and write an advice column under the pen name Silence Dogood, who was a middle-aged, I think maybe in her 60s, widow, and slipped the letter under the door. He thought it was brilliant. His buddies all thought it was brilliant, so he started to print it. And so he kept getting these letters slipped under the door, and he was printing them in his brother's newspaper. And it would sometimes Ben Franklin would talk crap about someone in the neighborhood. Other times he would give unsolicited advice, and then and they were so well written that people literally thought this was a real person. Silence Dogood was this widow that lived in the neighborhood because he was that intelligent and that good of a writer.
I remember one of his, because there would always be double entendres and little mischievous little ideas, and one of them was that women should pay more for the taxes for the roads because their dresses were so wide and they took up more space. They took up more space on the roads. So it was it was the ultimate kind of mischievous wind up artist troll.
Yeah.
And people would read it and be like, it was eloquent, well written, but it's like, is he taking the piss out of us? Is this serious? So that
a modern Ben Franklin probably would think that obese people should pay more for their airfare. Just saying.
I mean, I agree.
So before I pull your campaign up, however, I did clip your trailer. So I'm just going to quickly play his trailer to his latest campaign. So here's the trailer for Silence Dogood.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And Ben Franklin did want the turkey instead of the eagle. Ben Franklin did want
the turkey.
He wanted to be the turkey because the turkeys were territorial.
And you will see, not in the first 3 issues, but eventually there's going to be a turkey robot running around inside this world that I'm creating.
Well, nice ball shot that he gave that dude. That was cool. Bang! Hopefully it was a politician.
You never fight fair. That's the thing. It's like, and Ben, one of the things you'll find in
what does that even mean?
It's like there's Ben Franklin will be getting into lots of fights because what we don't know of Franklin was he was a pretty athletic guy. He actually fought in the militia, and so he will be showing everyone how to fight dirty because that's what
he was like
do.
Johnny Storm. He liked to bang. So.
Not as much as people think, actually. That was more of a more of a myth. There's a lot
You
of
know what? I like my myths. How about you leave
Yeah.
my myths alone?
There was one woman in particular that he did want to, and she did not want to reciprocate.
Was it the
But that was
queen?
after his wife died. No, she was I can't remember her name now. It was when he was in France as an ambassador.
Right. Yeah. Those French girls, you know.
So yeah, we got issues 1 and 2 are out. I got them right here. They look great. Issues 3 is coming in October. So and that will be issues 1 through 3 is going to be the complete story or the complete first part of the story. It's going to be a series, so it's going to keep going on and on and on. But issues 1 through 3 will be a full story for people to read. And it's a lot of fun. What I'm doing in this is exploring, like, kind of basically the concept is what would our most prolific founding father think of the world we're kind of creating today, and what that world may look like in 10 years if we keep going down the path that we're going. So, and that's a world where most people are moving into VR programs and living inside of pods connected to like something like Meta, like a social media thing where they're like living in a digital kind of world, and what that looks like, and how, you know, corporations are kind of running everything and running your life and treating everyone like a slave. And he takes exception to that. And then it kind of explores the concept of free will and who the greatest villains on the planet ever in life are those that infringe on the free will of individuals.
Very cool artwork. Digging it.
AGE
All right.
backed. Thank you. I've already backed. Obviously, I got issues 1 and 2. Looking forward to issue 3.
Oh, thanks, AG. Appreciate that.
I have a question. Why Ben Franklin?
Because of who Ben Franklin was. He was an inventor. He was a prolific inventor. His papers on electricity and his studies on electricity. The fact that he was a man of many talents. He was incredibly. I mean, I look at him as our most interesting founding father. It was going to be a founding father. I wanted to have someone from the past. One of the things in the story that's happening is that the AI has figured out a way to travel through time, and what the AI is doing is it's actually kidnapping people throughout time to download into the computer program so that they can add people's intellect to the algorithm, basically to itself, so that the AI can grow in power and reach and influence and kind of control the planet, because it's thinking that it's becoming God. But to do that, it's needing to kidnap like the smartest people in the world throughout time and history to, you know, add to the algorithm. Which is a little bit of my commentary on what social media companies do right now, which is kind of steal your soul. So I picked Ben Franklin because I saw Ben Franklin as someone who would be reluctant to deal with this situation, to even fight back, but then ultimately would be horrified with what is happening and be like, yeah, I have to do something. There's something else.
Do we have to worry about Jason getting kidnapped then?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe actually we'll have Jason get kidnapped, because he is one of the smarter people out there. And the AI would want to download his intellect and steal it from him.
I would be so honored to be a one-panel cameo in issue 12 or something like that. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Be in one of the pods, be like, oh, they got me.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go finish Jupiter. Get me out of here.
Number 2's almost done.
Yeah, and in terms of the art style, I describe it as it's tilted kind of towards like the Bruce Timm art style, but the layouts and the page designs and so forth, it's very kinetic, very fluid. It's a breezy read. It's a beautiful book, breezy read, lots of good action scenes and things like that. So I think it's a great design.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun working on it. It's taken a long time because I used to have a full-time job in entertainment advertising, so it's been a long journey. But I finally decided to retire from entertainment advertising, move to the middle of nowhere, and finish this dang thing and keep working on it, which we've been blessed to be able to do that. So you'll also see kind of like an evolution of the art as it gets better, because it's like I'm finally able to draw every day again, which has not been a thing. As a creative director, I'd be lucky if I could draw like twice a month, which was really, really starting to be soul crushing. And doing that for, you know, 15 plus, almost 20 years. I'm so glad to be just working on this now. It's so much
I
fun.
I think that drawing time, it serves the purpose of obviously keeping your skills sharp, but I think there's a meditative quality where where you can go through withdrawal from
Mhm.
not having that art time because your brain is accustomed to having that trance-like state, and I think it's critical. I'm glad you're able
Mm.
to get more studio time now.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been really good. I mean, being able to retire a bit early and just going back to what I wanted to do but couldn't because life, you know, life is
Mhm.
life. And sometimes hands you, you know, a bag of shit and you got to deal with it. It's been fun.
I recall you mentioned at one point that Mike Barron was like a creative consultant on this, or you.
Yeah, so I actually I've been consulting with Paul Ravoci, helping
Oh,
me
nice.
with working on making sure that my panels are clear and make sense and are good at storytelling. Just because you know, this is my first comic book ever. And then working with Mike Barron on making sure my dialogue is really tight and my story kind of flows really good. And so I've been getting a lot of constructive criticism and feedback from them, and you know, basically been hired. I've hired them on as consultants essentially to kind of help mold this story and to make sure that it's at a level that I would want it at, but that I would want it at to read, because I don't want to just like phone it in. So I think for me, growing up, you know, in the arts and entertainment industry and like coming from Disney and stuff, it's like you always wanted to check in with someone who had been doing it longer and better, to give you feedback and to tell you that it sucks and to start over. So that's what I've
Yeah.
been doing. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Like, why not? Right? Let's make this good.
Yeah.
These pages. Don't mind me. I'm just
It's
tripping out in the artwork. So,
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun drawing. I'm kind of sad right now because I'm done drawing issue 3, and I'm like now I'm doing the lettering. I actually for issue 3, I've been doing all the colors, but I had to hire a colorist because I wanted to get this done faster. Um, and so now I'm just doing the lettering, and I'm like, man, I got to get this done so I can get on to issue 4 because I want to start drawing it again. Although that might take a break because I'm going to be drawing another comic book soon, so which is going to be exciting as well.
What do
So
you use? Do you do it all by hand? Do you do digital? How do you approach it?
So I mainly for Science Duga, I stayed mainly digital. So most the program that I prefer to use is Photoshop.
Hmm.
It's what I'm familiar with. Like when I used to do movie posters and stuff, we use Photoshop. It's a great program for drawing. So I just mainly use that. So I can just pencil, ink, and do colors in one program and not have to be messing with other programs.
Yeah.
And I don't like necessarily being on the. I love Procreate, and I've done some stuff in Procreate for the book, but I want a bigger screen to draw on. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna be on my computer, not on that little, you know, 13-inch screen.
Your
Trying to.
colors are very vibrant. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's. I thank you. I love color, man.
It's
so
weird because what's weird for me, I draw on the Apple thing here with the pen. What's weird is I wish the screen was bigger, but at any given time I'm only drawing in this like little section, right? And
I
it's
want to see it
you
though. You
always
know what I
wanted to.
mean?
I know, yeah, you want to zoom it
I
out,
want to
but
see.
it's
So the next books that I'm doing, I'm deciding. I've been wanting to, and the reason why I did digital is because it's just faster. You can get stuff
Yeah.
done faster. You can edit things better. But I really miss drawing on the table. Like really, really, I miss it terribly. So on the next
Yeah.
book that I'm doing, I'm going back where you can see my drawing, my draft table behind me. I'm going back to there because I want to see the whole thing while I'm drawing it, and I think that there's it's harder to get a good panel going and drawing it and feeling it when you're so zoomed in on just one little portion. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I just had a couple shipping related questions, and then you said you're launching another campaign in October. I'm just deciding how is best for me to back. So issues 1 and 2 here. How many pages are each of those books?
They are shoot. I think. Oh, the other thing. So it's over 22 pages of story. And then each book will have like a little 3-paragraph history lesson for your kid. That's written like
Oh,
at the
cool.
4th grade level. So you're gonna learn some American history as well. But yeah, it's like I think this one's 32 pages and this one's 32 pages of stuff. And then the third one will be the same because I write long and then I draw even longer because I'm like, more pages is better, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot there. I always say back now because it helps us. It helps us a great deal get this crap done. But you know, dude, I will tell you guys, I'm gonna be doing a second chance campaign where I'm gonna have Dan Lawless and Eric Weathers covers as well as another cover from me, and those are gonna be the full graphic novel. And I would love to come back on when
Yes.
that campaign launches.
Definitely.
But if you want to get into it now, issues 1 and 2 ship very quickly. I think what you got yours, Jason, in like 3 days.
Oh yeah, it was quick.
So we ship it out really, really fast, as fast as we can.
The other thing is, you know, I think collected trades are good, but I will say I recommend you pick up the individuals because he does great cliffhangers, and I think it's a better reading experience in the standalone issues. So even if you get 1 and 2 right away, get them because your wait time between 1 and 2 is just a couple minutes. But he does great cliffhangers, so it's more enjoyable to wait for number 3. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, everything has a cliffhanger. Sorry, but I want you to get the next one.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
When is that campaign in October? I'm just trying to gauge. Like, do you have a set date or?
I don't have. I will. So, I'm saying mid-October for issue 3. Issue 3 will go up mid-October. It's going to go up on the same link as I have now. So the IndieGoGo, the Fund My Comic, turkeyrobot.com. They'll have that, and you can get 1 through 3. And then the second chance campaign, I'm not quite sure yet because there's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm bringing in new art from different artists to make that a little bit more fun for everybody. More like do some of those collector things, you know, just different covers from different artists and things like that.
So fulfillment, if somebody were to wait, then what do you forecast your fulfillment for that book in your issue 3? It won't be until obviously 2025 some point.
No, fulfillment will be early winter.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to
early
gauge
winter.
all these things. If I want to grab, like you said, like Jason was saying, you grab issue 1 and 2, you got them now, and then that'll sustain us for the rest of the year. Or you're
well, because then issue 3 is coming in October. So yeah. I mean, I'm learning a lot. I'm making a lot of mistakes. I mean, this is my first comic book. I'm just trying to sell books so I don't have to go back to work because I don't want to work in the entertainment advertising world anymore. Please, God, save me. No, things I won't. Like, we're good. I'm just kidding. But this is something that we are definitely planning on doing. But we want to. The next goal is going to be delivering books way faster. And now that I've retired, that's happening, which is really, really cool. This is going to be an ongoing series. So it's not just going to be the one book. It's going to be at least right now, what I have written is 13 issues.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah.
1 for each colony.
You see that? That was done on purpose.
And you pretty much do all the work yourself, right? Like you're like Jason, jack of all trades on your own.
I have been, but I'm actually slowly figuring out who I can work with and stuff. So like now I have a colorist, and I'm definitely gonna be hiring some people to help me get this done. I'm still gonna write, and I'm still gonna draw, and I'm still gonna ink. But I'm gonna hire I'm gonna hire a letterer because I hate doing letters. I'm not good at it. I try to be, but it's just like it's too many things, and we gotta get these things done faster. So I'm gonna hire some people next year for sure. Or this year, actually, I should say.
That's very cool. Yeah, I've never usually been this indecisive. I don't know if I want to back now or if I want
back
to
it.
Back it. Yeah, get it now. Actually, do you have the link? Can you share that?
Yeah, so the link is pinned to the top of my chat, but I will.
Is it okay?
Copy in.
I'm not on your channel right now, so
yeah,
that's fine.
And Captain Have Fun asks, Salty made posters? I made posters. Is Salty retired from Hollywood? I retired years ago. Yes, dude. I did many things in Hollywood, not just make posters. I made posters, worked on campaigns, marketing campaigns, wrote TV commercials.
Did you ever do any marketing work for P. Diddy?
No, thank God. Didn't do any marketing for the music industry. Mainly just movies, television, video games.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm glad I stayed away from that because, good Lord. But are we surprised? Are we surprised? So yeah, I'm really excited about this book. I hope people that get it like it. Please let me know your thoughts. I'm always,
Yeah.
definitely always willing to hear, feedback, guys. This is my first series, but we are having a blast. Like I'm having so much fun with this. And the people that are involved helping has been really, really great. Like tremendous. One of the cool things too is I'm working with my dad. My dad's a historian, so he helps with a
Nice.
lot of the history reference. He writes the history lessons for, I mean, they're really good. The history lessons, I'm like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Oh crap. What the? I had no idea.
All right, we've got 75 people watching live. I have issues 1 and 2 of this. I give it my highest recommendation, not just out of the patriotism of my heart, but this is a legit great comic book. Great cliffhangers, fun art. It's a breezy read. It's mischievous. Love it. So 75 76 76, hey, Spirit of 76, we got 76 people watching. Please go take a look at Silence Dogood. It's the adventures of Ben Franklin pulled forward in time to confront a technological dystopia. What would Ben Franklin do if he came to the apocalyptic dystopia that Mark Zuckerberg is trying to create? You will find out in the pages of Silence Dogood.
So I'm gonna let the chat decide for me whether or not I'm gonna pull a hat trick or not on this. So right now we're at 69 backers. Let me do a refresh. Let me see.
Yeah, refresh that.
So we are at 69.
How long have you been campaigning?
So we had one campaign. Last year that we made about $15,000 on. And I set the goal too high, but we set it up to where I was able to keep the buddy, and then deliver issue 1, and that's that campaign. And then this is basically me going, oh, let me set the goal to something a little bit more realistic since I'm a nobody, and then kept this open so that we could just kind of use it as a store until we get a website built, and then we can just sell directly to people, which is the next goal. But things cost money.
Yeah.
So wow, yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here talking about it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes,
definitely.
There we go. What is that? It says 70 backers. You just said how much? 69.
We were at 69. There is one backer. If one other person jumps in, I'll jump in.
All right, we got 70. So we now have 78 people watching. Mad Ruth is on the fence. He's sweating bullets. He does not know what to do. The dire demon of indecision is plaguing our friend Mad Ruth here. Should he back now? Should he back in October? One of you out there help move the needle. Be the stone that causes the boulder to move the avalanche to get this book going. Mad Ruth, we now have 79 people watching. 79 people watching. Who's going to be the next person to back Silence Dogood? Further adventures of Ben Franklin in the future. Michael Beacon.
Nice.
All right, Michael.
He's
got these books already. Michael, should Mad Ruth back these books right now, or should he be lazy and wait until October? Come on.
Hey, look, if he wants to wait, it's gonna be good. You know what? Also, you could get now and later. Now and later.
Yeah. Get the collected works.
Would Ben Franklin approve of procrastination? I don't think so.
No, he would. I will tell you that there will be a lot of new goodies that will. There's going to be some differences. So it's like one of those things where it's like, if you want to see the differences too in the evolution of this project, which I highly recommend because it's very entertaining and fun to kind of check out how this is evolving and changing and stuff. I would say to people, get it now, and then when we launch again with the Second Chance campaign, or wait, it's fine.
Hey, Craig, go ahead and refresh that.
Oh yeah,
where we at?
Refresh it again. Hold on.
81 people watching. 81 people. 7
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
one of
gonna
the-
have
look
to.
at there we
Alright,
go.
alright,
Now you
alright,
got
me. Twisted my arm. Why don't you? Hold on.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to. You have to entertain without me for a
the
minute.
first quote, one of the quotes that I'd love to share with the audience too. This is a Ben Franklin quote. So every book has a Ben Franklin quote that kind of like goes with the theme of that particular floppy, and it says either write something worth reading or do something worth writing. And I was like, that's the quote that started off this series, and it's I was like, yeah, that's a good one. And then the next one is. They who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And that gives you a little bit of an insight on the direction the book's going to take, which is going to be commentary on a lot of stuff. But the biggest thing that we're delving into, the biggest concept we're delving into is that free will. And then infringing on someone's free will is probably the greatest evil you can do to an individual.
My
Which is something
recommended
that seems to be common now.
my recommended reading companion to Silence Dogood is Poor Richard's Almanac. This is basically, some of this was colonial folklore, some of it was Americana, some of it was Ben Franklin himself. But there is so much wisdom in this. So you can buy this. It's not the almanac per se. It's the little things he would put in the margins, all the little sayings, the proverbs, the words of wisdom. Highly recommend this as a companion to Silence Dogood. So I see Vulcan back. Vulcan, thank you for backing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for backing. You're confirming what Mad Ruth is doing the right thing here.
Oh.
And I cannot wait to refresh and see where we're at. And
You ready?
Hold on. We have a special guest. We got a special guest. John's Lawn Box is in the chat. John, you should have Salty on your show if you haven't already.
He's actually gotten issue 1.
Nice.
He went. I can't wait to get his. When are you sending me my books, John? I know he's still working on them.
Nice.
I can't wait to get his because it looks really good.
Yes.
Captain Have Fun had a question. He's like, how old has Ben in these? He's 19 years old. So one of the concepts is that in the story, and I'll just kind of give it away, is that Ben Franklin is actually on the verge or on the eve of leaving for England. There was a time when he left for England when he was about 19 years old, and he had just turned 19. Well, actually, he was 18 years old, and then he turns 19 when he heading there. But he was going to England to secure a printer for his printing business that he was starting up. And the mayor of the town that he was living in had given him like basically a voucher to go pick one up. And then when he gets there, finds out that the mayor like deceived him, and then he gets stuck there and has to get a job to kind of get back. And so he's stuck there for 3 years. So that point in history, I'm saying, is that Ben Franklin really in England, or was he time traveling, saving our future?
Checks out.
Nice.
Checks out.
Yeah.
All right. So John's Lombok says he's going to be going to printing his book, The Patriarch, pretty soon. And let's do a refresh and see where we're at here.
Yeah.
And then Captain Have Fun actually had another question where he was asking, thinking about doing an audio format. That's an interesting thing that you said that. This actually started out as a animated show, and actually I had developed it as an animating show for a studio in LA that went out of business, as we were in pre-production, doing character designs and writing scripts and stuff. And so that was sad. And I was like, I gotta tell this story. So then I decided to age it up and make it a comic book. And I would love to eventually, God willing, turn it into something on a, more video type, audio television show. But, that's...
Hold on. John, did you just back, or you back before?
He backed before. He backed a long time ago.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got 81 people watching live. Craig, go ahead and hit refresh. Let's see where we ended up here.
Okay. So far we've got 4 new backers. We started at 69. He's up to 73 now.
Nice. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
That's a good way to start the weekend.
And you've raised $2,050 without my stupid funny money there. $2,051.
Nice. All right, we got 81 people watching live. We usually have another 100. Some people watch the replay. This book, I have to give you my highest recommendation for this book. It's a fantastic read. The art is great. The concept is great. The execution is fine. Cannot wait to get issue 3. Go check out Silence Dogood. Again, the world needs Ben Franklin now more than ever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I really appreciate that. The kind words.
So is there any last minute comments or from the chat? Does anyone want to ask any questions, or is anything you want to have to say before we
Wrap it up?
All I can say is everybody go check out Jupiter. I'm on the road to 10K. I'm going to get there before I launch issue 2, and buckle in, because I got the feeling that, thank you. I got the feeling that Craig's going to show us some whale dick.
Yes, no doubt.
Damn, I don't have my copy. God, I'm like the only one who didn't have his copy sitting here of Jupiter. My bad. Lesson learned. Don't kick me from the show.
But
my last thing is right now I'm funding. I'm $5 away from my first stretch goal,
Nice.
Which will be a chibi sticker of the blue girl, the Empress. And we're kicking along, man. Help me out. I think I'm at 70 backers, something like that. Nice. So jump on the pile. Get in at the beginning, where it's still getting good. So
thank you for spending your Friday with us. Thanks for sharing some laughs. Thanks for taking a look at this project, and to those who backed. And we hope that you continue to join us every Friday to get your weekend going in style. We will bring you the most important overlooked news stories of the week, and then we'll bring you some new creators, some old creators, and some fantastic creators. Thank you for spending your time with us on this Friday night.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
A home in Monrovia is up for sale for $500,000.
And it is quite the fixer-upper. You'll recall a tree maybe fell onto this house back in May. Maybe you'll remember that. The occupants were not hurt, but the tree basically cut this 645 square foot, 1-bedroom, 1-bath home in half. What's left is now on the market. That's, wow, for $499,999. It comes incomplete with walls. It has some loose wires, no ceiling. The plumbing we hear still works. The listing agent is trying to put a positive spin. No privacy in the bathroom. It's an open concept floor plan, they're describing it.
Guess so.
He also says because the home was destroyed by an act of God, a buyer can demolish and rebuild it without any red tape from the city.
And apparently that's why there has been a lot of interest in this house, because otherwise you have to go through a ton of red tape.
Is a new one? What the is that? It is massive, look. That's my foot. It's like the size of my leg. Ugh. Disgusting.
You cannot.
Sorry.
There's the well pinners.
Where?
There it goes. Whoa! It's huge. There it goes.
You did good. All right, this is what's up. You can live here, you can record here, you can be bad boy artists here, but if you want to do it, first y'all gotta walk to Queens and get me a sugar cookie. A sugar cookie, man, this is crazy. Yeah, come on, man. Bad boy.
Hello? Got it!
Can't stop. Won't stop.